Hello, welcome back to my network. I'm with Aldo Bortano, the CEO of CleanTech Lithium again. Aldo, good to see you. Haven't seen you since Miami.
Yeah, good to see you, Peter.
Give us a bit of an update. What's happened since then?
Well, I will start with the national Chilean lithium policy that came out on Thursday night of last week, and then on Friday was reinforced. And it's all good news for us. The government has since then many things. First, there's no nationalization whatsoever. There's the intention of the government to review the contracts with SQM and Albemarle. One expires in 2030, the other expires in 2043. And there's incentive to extend their rental if they find a way of collaboration with the government and so on. And the stock market recognized that yesterday. Both went up in significant numbers, but we also like the possibility of us. We were in a better position than anyone with the advance of our projects, and we'll go into details of the things we're doing at the project level, engineering level, studies level, to help the government develop their own salars. The two vehicles that they have, Enami and Codelco, both related to copper, but who have a lithium special vehicles, they don't have the money or the knowledge to do that, or they can finance partially. But we're in a good position to help them develop those projects and help Chile as a country retain again the #1 production. We hold 37% of the world's reserves, and we just only producing lithium out of Salar de Atacama, the most rich salar of the world, without the Marlin SQM. So we look at it as a positive thing, and we tick the boxes also on community work, on the direct lithium extraction technology we develop. We could get into that later on too, and the fact that we control our basins, and we're working hard and spending resources on the hydrogeological models. Direct lithium extraction talks about re-injection. Easier said than done. It's a lot of work.
We'll definitely get onto DLE and the project.
I
just want to talk to you a little bit more about Nash, because I think when the news came out last Thursday, most of the headlines were this is a replica of what's happened in Mexico, and you're saying it's not that, and there isn't a chance that these assets.
The president itself, President Boric, yesterday inaugurated Expomin, the largest mining convention in Chile, and he says we want the government to have an important role in the development of the lithium space. There's no nationalization. We need a strong and we need a strong dialogue with the private sector to form private-public alliances and work together. That's what he said. I mean, and the assurances of Ministry of Treasury, Mining, and so on. They says we'll talk one-to-one with the ones who are greenfield projects. We'll talk with the ones who in our salars will talk, and the one more advanced. And we are clearly the ones more advanced. We'll talk and see how we can interact with them.
Because the way I was kind of looking at this was, obviously, I think there's talks of a partnership between quite a lot of the Latin American countries on lithium supply and control, and obviously with Mexico and Chile and Bolivia and potentially Argentina. And it's almost, in my mind, it was beginning to look like how it's similar to what you see with large oil producing countries, where you have these partnerships to monitor pricing and supply.
Yeah.
It almost came across like that was the final intent of the Latin, because obviously they have about half of the world's reserves in lithium, right? So is that, I guess from what you're saying is you don't necessarily have to nationalize lithium in Chile to achieve that.
The government with the scheme of paying more as the profits go up, because again, this Chile, the Salar de Atacama, the largest producer of the world, held on contracts of lease rental from Albemarle and SQM. It's owned by the state. It's owned by the government. It's a rental. Right. It's always been. There's no need to nationalize anything.
Okay.
And that's just been working for many years successfully. Of course, now there's new requirements with the community work, with the water usage. Albemarle and SQM have announced big investments and everything. What they're saying to all the other players is we want to develop the remaining projects in a different way from day one. The government said no other new project will be allowed permitting or anything if it's not direct lithium extraction. We are the company in Chile who's more advanced with that.
Okay.
Indigenous group. Just by merit, we have almost 0.5% of our workforce is women. The head of operations is woman. The head of hydrogeology is woman. The head of community relationship is woman. And so it's a very different story. Nobody talks about nationalization in Argentina when they work in a different way at the state level. I mean, the different regions. In all of them, they have a 10% minority stake.
Yeah.
And it's been, and like I said, it's kind of nationalization of the lithium industry when the producer is a state-owned, and they agreed on a rental process, and that's what the market
So
has
at the moment,
recognized.
for you guys, it's business as usual. This is noise in the background,
Oh,
and
it's even better. It's not even business as usual. It's better. We now have a path to go fast into exploitation of our licenses.
so run me through
We
that.
have
How
we
does
have
this
the we have
expedite the pathway to production with this news?
Well, the thing is, we were the only private company who has submitted sales, the contract for exploitation or operation of lithium. And from day one, we said publicly to the authorities, we'd like some sort of collaboration, and we're working at the local level very well with the authorities. And we see a path forward again now, not only in finding a way, if the conversations go well, we can advance with our projects by ourselves. But also we see an opportunity to develop other projects, bring in a could be the same scheme. Okay, I'll let you have your salar, rent it us, we'll develop it, rent it us for 25 years. And we'll develop that. We'll do all the work that we can do. Again, from taking it from early exploration into scoping study, PFS, environmental work, and into production.
So you see this as a potential route, as a partnership with the government to help obtain new licenses and actually help speed up the production route for your own license at the moment.
Exactly. And that's the intention.
Yeah.
That's the way it started, the announcement. But then it was taken like a different views.
Okay. Well, let's run through work on the ground, because obviously you were doing a lot of exploration work, building up ounces outside of the existing resource. Obviously, you're doing the pilot plant at the moment with the DLE. I mean, just give us a bit of an update as to what work's been going on at the ground.
Yeah, on the ground, we're wrapping up the drilling campaigns on the two most developed sites. We are 4,400 meters. We start drilling. We build the road and everything in accordance with the local community of this other project, Zamara, who's farther north. It's a big project with 344 square kilometers, northeast of Salar Atacama at 1,000 meters. And we already start drilling a couple of days ago.
Okay.
That if that we find good grade as the geophysics suggests, we'll go forward on raising some more money. We're going dual listing in Australia, end of July, beginning of August.
Good.
As to have a wider variety of markets, and the fact that 30+% of our current stakeholders are from Australia. We've completed a lot of hydrogeological work since we met on a pump test and also re-injection modeling. We've engaged with the communities, and they visit the pilot plant, the small-scale pilot plant, lab scale, and they visit sites. There's 6 communities that are organized there, and they agreed to an early engagement. They proposed an early engagement scheme that they'll come to shows like this and tell the story themselves.
Good.
I mean, we're setting up tables of work with them on such issues as the roads, issues as water, issues as employment. We set up we moved our operations into Copiapó, the neighboring town. We've engaged with the university on a program where their graduated geologists are doing the sampling and all the quality assessment, quality control of the sites. So we were starting when the last time we met. Now we're advancing everything forward, and the market should see those news of the things we're doing with upgraded resource, our work upgraded, the dual listing, the pilot plant. We're going to scale it up to 1 ton per month. It's commissioned to be ready in the end of July, and then we'll start producing more significant amounts of lithium.
Good, and then you can start having offtake potential discussions from there.
We've been busy and signed with extensive confidential agreements and so on with the major, some of the major battery producers in the world, household names, trader houses from Asia, companies, mining companies, and we've received them all, and we're not going to engage in final discussions until we go into finish the PFS that we already started of Laguna Verde with Worley.
Good.
We added a new board member. We move our chairman to be an executive chairman because he has a doctorate in hydrometallurgy here from London. At the same time, he has taken from early on into production and financing. the largest 2 copper mines of the world, Escondida and Coyahuasi in Chile, and another project like that. And brought a woman, Maha Mawidi, who has an extensive record of offtake, mergers and acquisitions. She's a Moroccan French wonderful asset. I mean, woman that we added into the company.
Okay, so there's a lot of interest, and you've also got the skill sets around you at the moment.
Exactly. Yeah. But again, we don't want to engage until we de-risk more the projects. And the clear risk is the country environment and the upscaling of the direct lithium extraction technology, who includes reinjection. A lot of people talk about direct lithium extraction and we'll reinject. How can you talk about reinjection when you don't control the basin?
Yep.
You're going to reinject your neighbor. I mean, it's easier said than done. There's a lot of claims around it, and the more the merrier. The 2.5 tons of direct lithium extraction, lithium carbonate that Salt Lake, that Lake Resources produces, good news for the market, as we have good news with a year ago, the 1 kilo battery grade that we produce, and now we're upscaling everything. Chile already said not a new project will be allowed if it's not direct lithium extraction.
Okay, so you're ticking the boxes there as well. I just wanted to run through lithium. Obviously, we've seen a bit of a turbulent period at the moment. We saw prices go as high as 84,000. That's even for carbonate prices. They've since dropped down fairly substantially. But what I quite like about the economics that you've provided is obviously you're still about half the actual lithium price at the moment. I think it's dropped down to around the 40,000 mark. You've been benchmarking your studies against around 22,500, right?
Yeah, when we did the scoping study, it was basically preliminary economic assessment. We work with our 2 brokers and their analysts, Fox Davis and Canaccord, and the information that we buy monthly from Benchmark Minerals. And we took a $22,500 cost, price per ton of lithium. The price was 84,000 at that time when we came out with the scoping
I'm glad you
study.
didn't. I'm glad you didn't give in to temptation and produce these fairy tale economics at 80,000 or 100,000.
$1.83 billion value, net present value. I mean, it's on a small 20,000 ton per year production when we have resources to have something larger. And the capex is 400 million. We're going to fund it with an offtake agreement or a minority stake and the financing of that agreement of minority stake, plus debt. And the cash flow, the project pays itself rather quickly. So everything in our website, all the information. We just telling the story, and happy to tell the story. We're really spending the money on the ground and on the project. That's what we're doing.
Just before we close up, run us through what the pathway to production looks like. If all goes well, obviously you've got some refining to on the DLE. You've got potential permits that you might need to get through. So when could we realistically see a final investment decision of, okay, it's ready, we're confident, let's do this?
Yeah, we're aiming to this space that opened up to talk with the government to speed up the processing, the contract to operate lithium. The work by Worley, who's de-risking the project with further engineering on Laguna Verde, and then Francisco Basin will follow. We are 80% completed of the scoping study of Francisco Basin. Then the critical timelines to go into production is again an FS, a final feasibility study, the finish of the EIA, the environmental impact assessment. We already have the baselines, and because the communities engage early, and we and them engage early in conversations, they're part of the consultation. So that hopefully will speed that up. And then it's a matter of upscaling the technology. The direct lithium extraction technology, it's modular. So all that into place, connect to the national grid. There's some work, but it's nothing that has not been before. And the infrastructure is in place, and the team is in place. Have people from ex-Codelco, people ex-SQM, ex-Albemarle, ex-Freeport. That's the people who we're working.
So if you had to put a number on it and a roadmap to when these sort of critical
2026 with the Musa Brands project, Laguna Verde. That's what we're aiming for and working. There could be always delays on the road, but we're just de-risking the project and advancing.
Good. Aldo, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.